Okay, so today what I'd like to talk about is Fibonacci codings. And so these are ways of representing numbers in terms of sums of Fibonacci numbers. And so here are a bunch of Fibonacci numbers. We've got 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13, etc. And so the way we're generating these is we take two of the numbers here, and when we add them, we get the next one in the sequence. And so it's the last two added gives the next one. So 3 plus 5, 8, 5 plus 8, 13, 8, 13 is 21, and all the way up. Now, what we do for these codings, when we want to code a particular number, let's say we want to code the number 16, well, I'm going to put a 1 here. 13 plus 3 is 16. And so that would be an encoding. And so it would be, the coding would be 0, 0, 1, 0, 0, 1. And so this looks like binary, but it's very different in that each of the columns holds a different value than they would in binary. Anyway, it's one thing to be able to represent a number, but it's another thing to be able to do operations. Now, one of the things that's peculiar to these Fibonacci codings is that you can't just put ones anywhere you want. And for instance, this number, which would be 1 plus 3 plus 5 plus 13, quickly, that's 17, 22. Well, in fact, you wouldn't represent it like this, because an easier way to represent it would be, notice 3 plus 5 is 8, and so you hop that one over, and it becomes like this. But then, as well, you wouldn't represent it like that. You would, 8 plus 13 is 21, and so this is the better way to write 22. And in fact, it is the only way to do it. So it would be 1, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 1. And when I say the only way, I mean to say the only proper way. Okay, so, but this kind of brings us to a rule. Any time you see two ones, you can replace it with two zeros and put another one here. And so it's kind of like the peg jumping game, where you take a peg and you jump over the other one, eliminate this one, and then put it here. And so that step is quite nice. Another move would be, well, remember when I had the encoding for 16, which was 13 plus 3. But one of the things we know about 16 is that is 2 times 8. And so it could be represented kind of like this. But once again, with these Fibonacci codings, we can only have a 1 or a 0, and this would be a 2. And so notice what happens. One goes up, and the other one goes down 2. And so I've actually written this rule down here. You can replace 2 with this pattern. And so what's more important about these two rules is they work anywhere. So for instance, if I have two 21s, which is 42, then I could replace it with 34 plus 8. And so when you do the math, you realize it's 42. Now, okay, it's interesting to represent numbers like this and to be able to move things around. But what's a little bit more interesting is when you can actually do arithmetic. And so, for instance, I've got a particular example in mind, and that is the number 232. And so that represents 232. And so you say, wow, is he really that fast at doing math? Well, in fact, no. All I'm doing is that if I place another one here, making it 233, what I notice is that these two ones can be replaced. I would sort of push one up and one down, but of course this is nothing here. And so then I replace the 2 and the 3 with a 5, the 5 and the 8 with a 13, the 13 and 21 with 34, the 34 and 55 with 89, and finally the 89 and 144 with 233. And so notice my previous number plus 1 gives me 233, and so my previous number had to be 232. Okay, so, but that's not what I'm really interested in. So there's one number, 232. What I want to do to this number is add another number. And So I'm going to place another number here, and that is 21. And so if I had a complicated number with lots of different things, I could just place them over top. But I'm going to add one Fibonacci number at a time, and then see how it does. And so I'm going to use these two rules to fix this so it's a proper Fibonacci coding. So this one goes up and down, this one here up and down, this one here up and down, and then the two ones become just that. And then here I hop there, get that, here I hop there and get that. And so it's kind of like a two-step process. So sometimes you go down this way and sometimes you go up this way. And anyway, what do I end up with? 233 plus 13 plus 5 plus 2. And so if I do this, here is 20, 7 and 13, 20. And so that this sum is 253. And so if we remember the original number, 232 plus 21, boom, you get our answer. And so just for a memory, or just to help you out, there's what I'm talking about. 232 plus 21 is 253, and to maybe summarize that, that is what we saw, 150, or 144, 55, 21, 8, 3, whatever, plus 21 is the number we have here, 233, 13, 5, and 2. Okay, so there's a quick run through on how to add numbers, or how to add Fibonacci codings. I hope it was interesting. I hope you remember these two patterns, and who knows, maybe you can use your Scrabble board like I did for something other than the game of Scrabble. Cheers.